What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the PodDawg Podcast. I'm going to keep running that intro. I think it's kind of cool. Again, if once I can figure out how to get some type of overlay and something futuristic like that, and it pop in an emblem with a PodDawg Podcast, and maybe a little bit more sportsy, less futuristic, like we're plugged into a freaking machine, just veins running and everything just plugged into some kind of cybernetic organism. Something about that seems kind of cool. Not really digging it though. More on God's side than that. But we're not gonna get political on this. There's something cool about that. But welcome back in, man. This is episode 3. And again, I'm calling them episodes, but I don't really know what else to call them. Maybe we'll get a little bit more like kind of trendy with it and figure out, how to actually have this thing make sense. But we're going to kind of continue the theme that we've been doing. On the last episode, we talked about the Georgia-Alabama game, gave our thoughts on that, covered everything that we felt and reviewed some videos, of just like, promising yet concerning at the same time. But it's a young football team. That was the final takeaway. And then we also did our pick 5. So we're going to get into that again. We're going to continue down that list. I'm going to try to keep these episodes, right at that 50, 55 minute. I know it's a lot for people to actually sit down and have the attention span for, especially with the video component. Not everyone's going to dedicate, sitting in front of it. Audio can work sometimes, but, I'll find a way to get a little bit better at that. But I'm just going to kind of run with this and keep rolling with it. But we're going to roll into week 6, our pick 5. And like I said, last episode, we watched Texas A&M and Mississippi State. Final thoughts on that Texas A&M, pick your poison offense. I think that offense is super explosive, super dynamic, good offensive line. And they just kind of have whatever they want in terms of going downfield, speedy receivers, Concepcion, wherever they want to go. Marcel Reed's obviously a rushing threat, and Moss is, a pretty good runner himself in the goal line, especially. And then Mississippi State, just an absolute, total, complete surprise. I think their performance against Tennessee was phenomenal at home. Really no home field advantage for them other than the cowbell, but I think they played really well against a really, really tough and good Tennessee team. Again, their quarterback, being a statue like he is concerning on my part, especially with Texas A&M having the sack ability that they do. The RPO game is quick there. The running game is phenomenal compared to what they were. They got 1,000 yards rushing so far this season, most of that being carried by one back, particularly, number 24, forget his last name. And the defense has 7 interceptions, man. So they're ball hawks. They're back there. 2 of them came against Tennessee, which, Joey is, taking chances, still learning the game, still learning the SEC speed of things. But still, they're winning. They're really close and competitive. They should have won the Georgia game, arguably. But yeah, defense is awake, aggressive. So let's continue in, man. We're going to jump in today. We're going to review. This will be a fun one. We're going to do Miami and Florida State. And again, this game is not necessarily like this is a sleeper game. I have my initial feelings going into it. Miami's a really, really good freaking football team. But let's see if they can continue it, man. They played a Florida team, they played a USF team, and they played a Notre Dame team first game of the season. Notre Dame has obviously kind of hit their stride a little bit more. That was the first start on the road for a freshman quarterback, and they were probably still trying to figure out their identity a little bit against a defensive line and a defense for Miami that feels like they were very set in their way and ready to play. And then USF, they went in there, handled business against them. I'm probably missing a game or two. And then Florida's a good defense. Their offense isn't great, and that seemed like it was a gridlocked game. I think that's the one we're going to watch. We're going to watch Miami versus Florida. I think that'll be a good one to watch. I think that one, because it was competitive enough, even though they kind of took off at the end. And then we're going to watch Florida State. We're not going to go watch them drum Alabama first game of the season. We're not going to go watch them beat, 2 cupcake teams 70-0. We're going to go watch this game they just lost last week to Virginia at Virginia, the big upset of the week. And just see kind of, we know this team can run. Gus Malzahn is a phenomenal play caller, especially in the running game. The team feels like it's very set up for a really heavy running attack. But how that running attack is going to match up against a defensive front from Miami that seems to be the best in the country so far doesn't feel like a good recipe at all. And, Castellanos' ability to move the ball down the field, throwing it. He's obviously got a really good receiver, and they made some good throws at the end of that game for Virginia, just not quite enough. So we'll watch that again and just see the speed, the team, and kind of how we're feeling. But we will first go over the 5 pillars of importance for this game when we're making these decisions, and kind of look at everything there. And just on paper, like stats wise, let's see who feel. I feel like Florida State's probably going to have the crazier stats, and it's going to jump off on paper a little bit more. But we're going to review that. Look at the 2 game clips together. ACC's got some long game clips. I think it's a condensed game for one of them. I couldn't find anything else, but we'll go through it. We'll try to as much as we need to watch of it, right? And then we'll go through and kind of, talk about the game itself. In terms of current events, looking at things, nothing too active on this nice Tuesday morning, 9:30. Again, Sam Pittman left. Nothing else really. Everyone's got their odds. Everybody's keeping the thing rolling, but nothing too crazy going on. The timeline. The timeline's the timeline for a Tuesday. But I appreciate anyone that has tuned into this. We're going to continue to keep doing this. We're going to continue to keep gaining traction. We're going to get the format more digestible or more watchable. But at this point right now, this is what it is, man. This is how we're going to do it. This is the pocket that we're in. We're going to keep running with it. I think there's going to be some value to it. I think there's a little bit of entertainment on the last one. That's me just self-indulging. But we'll see. We'll see if anyone else likes it. I always like to drop this link here. Just kind of shows everyone where to follow me on X. I think most of the content, insights, and threads are going to be going to this account. It seems to be, working. I like the format there. And we may get some more in-depth stuff. We may start doing, something else. I might start doing something else in terms of like Substack or something like that. Maybe trying to get more in-depth breakdown, maybe more in-depth insights. Dude, check out this shirt. Red Bull, Formula One. When the football season ends, we got to find something to do. And, the mornings here in the Westbury household become a little bit, a little European once football ends. Maybe some Premier League soccer. We'll figure it out. I would like to cover F1, but I just don't know other than like, ooh, this engineering team's doing really. I don't want to cover that. College football is where it's at. But guys, let's jump in, man. Again, I appreciate everyone, and thank you to Riverside. I think this software so far so good for someone that's really novice and has zero experience doing anything like this. Has made it really easy. And we did get the YouTube channel up and running. Again, they seem like they have all kinds of parameters of like what I can and can't include. Not even monetized, so I don't know necessarily what they're flagging. Maybe it's the videos of other YouTube videos and watching these highlights, but we'll figure it out. But we do have the YouTube channel going now, but everything mostly right here on the Spotify. Spotify makes it really easy for young creators, new creators to get into this space. So I really appreciate them for that and making tools really digestible. Obviously, getting their numbers up. More content, more podcast. Hey, we got the most podcasts because this silly guy wants to talk college football, and we've given him some software to figure it out. So no, we got more podcasts than anywhere else. Eventually, I will get it on the podcast app too for audio. I imagine I will have to change the format to make this digestible for audio only because I'm doing kind of a reaction and some insight. So we'll look at things, but I appreciate you guys. Anyone that's listening, greatly appreciated. This is super fun. This is making the college, football season. It's adding an extra element, giving a voice, adding to the discourse. I think we're moving from, the talking heads on ESPN, even though it pops and it's easy, it's digestible. I think people are kind of gravitating to more of this, just what's this guy thinking? He sounds like he kind of knows football. I don't know. He might not be the smartest at it, but he kind of knows football and he's passionate about it. And, there are things that we know as humans, like you don't even necessarily have to be an expert on things. As long as you got passion and energy and, you're conveying an authentic message to people, that sometimes resonates. Even if I am a complete idiot when it comes to this stuff, people seem to appreciate that. It's honesty, maybe at the end of the day. I don't know. But let's jump in this thing, man. Let's take a look. We're going to go over the 5 pillars of importance. We're going to start with Miami. Let's do the screen share. Let's keep this thing smooth today, baby. Let's not have any hiccups. Let's not have any hiccups. No issues. It's going to be a smooth selling operation today. I feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Hopefully it's there. I think we're there. Technical difficulty. It's all right. We still have faith. We're going to figure this thing out, man. Let's try this again. I would like to be able to see myself, though. So you guys, hang in there. We got this. Might edit this part out. Who knows? Who knows? Let's share it. Let's figure this out. I don't know, man. But what we're not going to do is we are not going to give up. That's the important thing. No quitting around here. We're dedicated. All right, let's jump in. I hope you guys can see this. I really do. We're going to start with number 3, Miami, though. We're going to break down their stats, look at things, see what this team's about this year, man. We know they're 4-0. We know they've had a pretty good track record so far. Carson Beck is really good at playing quarterback, especially with, good talent around him. Popping off the page, though, 4.5 spread. Doak Campbell. Uh-oh. They're playing at Florida State. Can they do it? Response off of an upset? I don't know. I picked Illinois at home against a team that probably had more skill, but they were pissed off because they got their tail whooped against Indiana. I feel good about that. All right, so let's jump in. Miami. Let's see what these guys are doing on paper. Let's see how these stats look for these fine gentlemen. They play Florida State, and then they kind of just this is kind of the last game of the season. Louisville might be kind of tricky at home. I'm not seeing anything else. They definitely had a front-loaded schedule. Carson Beck, I've watched him for a while. All right, this team's averaging 36 points a game. Third down efficiency, 50%. Fourth down efficiency, 66%. Not going for it a ton. Probably really haven't had a reason to. Rushing the rock, all right. Doing about 4.8 yards a carry. Total on this, let's see, they got about 722 yards. They got a good balance passing attack, too. I know they're controlling the ball well. Leaning on people, 33 minutes. And then with that defense, I would imagine, a +3 turnover margin from them. And again, not putting too much weight into these stats here, but going to players, just kind of getting an idea. Players that are popping. Pretty balanced rushing attack. Got two backs doing pretty good here. Getting pretty much a 1-2 punch from them. Carson playing very efficient, 73% completion, 3 interceptions though. There are times where Carson, I know this from his Georgia time, where they can get locked in to where he's a true pocket passer. He's not going to run it. He's not going to keep it on any read options. And sometimes he'll get kind of squirrely on you. Like he can read the field. He can read zone coverage really well. But there are times where it's just like, whoa, what are we doing? And we get gridlocked, and you kind of have to start handing it off. Distribution from the receivers, spreading the love, doing what they need to. Nothing too crazy. Now, this defense is what everybody's talking about with Miami. So let's see. We got 10 sacks on the season. Not bad. Interceptions, 3 of them. Forced fumbles, 4. Okay. And we're +3 in the turnover margin. So we've got 3 interceptions that probably haven't fumbled ourselves. So not too bad there. I like it. Looks good. Stream's going nice. We're making stuff happen. Let's go jump over here to these Florida State fellers. How are you guys looking this year? Great win. Close loss. Drumming of these two teams. But Alabama at home, man. I think that team was probably just not awake yet. I don't think they had a very tough fall camp. I don't think they just weren't ready to play yet. I'm not gonna put too much into that. But third down percent. See, I'm on paper, man. On paper. Kind of figured this was how this would look, but they've played a much less intense schedule. I don't know, honestly. They have. They played a not as intensive schedule. Miami's only 4.5 though. Vegas sees something here. Maybe what we're seeing here, fellas and fine ladies that could potentially be watching. They are aggressive though, and I would imagine a decent amount of those fourth downs came from that Virginia game, maybe the Alabama game too, because they're like, oh, we might got these guys. But I mean, on paper, this is what I like to see: 58% on third down and 72% on fourth down, and they've gone for it 11 times in 5 games. Yeah, average rush yards attempt 6.7. This might be the best rushing team I've looked at all season. I would expect as much though. And with those rushing yards, you'd expect just absolutely eating clock, but not as much as Miami. So Miami might have a little bit better approach, a little bit slower approach. Turnover ratio, 0. We ain't making nothing happen on defense. Passing wise, 64%. Only 4 passing touchdowns for Mr. Tommy. These probably came up in mop-up duty against those worst teams. Not going to put too much into that. Rushing attack. I mean, pick your poison. Rushing attack right there. Pick your poison rushing attack right there. And Deuce Robinson. I know that's the main guy they got out wide. Yeah. All right. Defense. What are we doing? 10 sacks. Okay. 6 interceptions, though. That probably came from only 1 forced fumble. All right. We're not being crazy, but we're nil. All right. So Miami, 4.5 at Florida State. Over under on this game, 53.5. Something about this one feels like it might be lower. Something about this one feels like it could be under. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right. Let's jump over here. Stop sharing. Welcome back. Thank you guys again. We're about 20 minutes in. Hopefully it's been productive for you guys. Let's go over here, though. We're going to share the screen. And let's start with Miami. Let's watch these highlights. I want to see this defensive front Heisman. I mean, he's just setting an edge and just messing things up, though. I mean, he just took on 2 defenders right there. Physical as hell. DJ, what we got? Nothing. Sorry, kid. You had some winners. Looked like there were a couple people open. We're still in this thing. It's all right. We're back. Miami, as they continue to move throughout this season with the offensive balance they have, really no worries from them. They just seem like a big and physical team. Right players, right positions. Offensive line looks really good. Carson Beck's obviously an NFL quarterback. He showed that in his first season starting at Georgia. He was a 70-some-odd% completion percentage with NFL talent. Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. I've always said that. That 1 year was not his fault entirely. He definitely made some mistakes, probably not fully in it. Florida defense plays hard. I will say that. But that's exhausting. The way Miami just moved the ball down the field on that first drive. If they continue to sustain that throughout this whole game, I mean, it makes sense it was a low-scoring game, but good God. I mean, as a defense, she's like, dude, we threw everything we had at him. Look at that. Look at that. A wall. Just fall behind the wall. 124 is like, I'm going to break your kneecap. Real thing to see, too, is the Miami secondary being improved because they were dog water last year. Oof. Crazy decision. At least he got it out. Number 13's, yeah. I mean, look at the hustle from Miami. Number 4 out there. He ain't getting nothing done. I think they had like 20 yards of offense in this first half. Florida did against Miami. A little choppy there, Carson. Swagged out with the Tom Brady 1 glove. Like to see it. 3rd and 2. Just quick slant. Run it. I'm going to drop it over the middle. I don't know. I think the offensive line, they returned a decent amount of starters. Exhausting ass game. I mean, just leaning on them, dude. What are y'all going to do? Here. I'm going to hand it to him. Shorten the game. 33 minutes to time of possession. I got Miami number 3 in my CW poll. I think this team's really good. Wow, you're a genius. Are they due for one of those games, though? Is this the same Miami team that we've seen? Is it coaching? See, Carson sometimes, yeah. There's something about Florida, though. Their defense is just playing hard. It's like no matter where they're at, like coaching, all the coaching news, the team, they do play for Billy. I think that's why Florida's had such a tough time, like pulling the trigger on that. I mean, his end of the season last year was just absolutely commendable. DJ Lagway is a good player, man. He's got such potential. It just feels like he just hasn't played enough. 250. Good Lord. Tough hit. Again, this ain't a Florida State, though. We've got to focus on the Miami defense. They're good. They're aggressive. Group tackling. Swarming to the ball. I mean, this game, I think they were mostly just in offense in the first half. Just 3 and outs real quick for Florida. Just a methodical approach to this game. Hard running, too. They were Miami in the ACC more physical than that Florida team, even though Florida fought. Watch out. Off the edge. What are you going to do? As physical as they can be. Wow, Chris, you got some real insights on this team, huh? It's almost like the first few weeks of the season, there's just way more unknowns. And if you go and actually watch the tape of these guys, you find these nuggets and you're like, oh, wow, this team's actually good. And it's more of a discovery. But like by week 6, it's like, well, Miami's so far proven themselves. Just a matter of like, how are they going to travel? I don't think they've left the state of Florida. They're not going to leave for Florida State. Florida State's a tough atmosphere, though. They're going to be mad. I don't think Florida State's defense, though, is going to be really do anything with this offense. Is Florida State's defense better than Florida's? Wow. What a snoozer. 13-0 so far. Fighting for their life. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Number 4 up there, dude. Good Lord. Look at his hustle. He's just a game wrecker. I think he's the only number I've wrote down on the defense. Not to say that there's not more good defensive players on this team, but just looks different than everybody else out there. And they get the ball back to start the second half, 3rd and 2, lean on him again. Eventually it's got to get. I see a pass play. Open it up a little bit. Defense knows, hey, just set the edge, stay home. Carson ain't going to keep it. Got to be frustrating from a defensive perspective to just have a team do this to you like this. Air it out. Not a great throw by Carson. Didn't really put the receiver in a position to really get any more traction other than the catch. Seen that from him too, though. I'm not going to say he's streaky because, there are times, tends to Energizer Bunny, label him as gadget player. The line's just got the push, dude. Huh? That's high school. That's a high school highlight. That's insane. What? You get called back. Come on, Florida. Number 4, defensive lineman. 35, 45 yards downfield. Where's number 4 at? Let's see him. I'm going to come from the left side of the screen here. Jeez, physical game. I don't think these teams like each other or something. Would you imagine the defense is a little tired at this point? Should be pretty fresh. They ain't been on the field too much. How many tackles does number 4 have in this game? Good Lord. It's kind of exciting to watch the Florida and Texas game. We'll probably do that one. DJ with the keeper. 250 pounds. Number 13 does that a lot. It'd be cool if Georgia could get him as a transfer after this year falls apart for Florida. Have a little ETN style play. Made something happen against a defense you just really have not been able to do anything against. See? Carson historically, though, has had some issues, even at Georgia, against these Florida teams. I don't know if it's the Florida team themselves. I just think sometimes he just doesn't quite see it. He kind of floated that one. If he put a little more zip on it, he might could have got it there. Good play by 25, though, just to jump in front of that. Slaughter on the offensive line, not with a W, like actually how you spell slaughter. Crazy name. I'm sure number 4 had something to do with that. Flagway got his receiver killed on that one. Hey, we need the first down, though, kid. Football's a tough sport, man. Number 13 wants it more than everyone else. Wants to be on a good team. He had a good pocket. That was DJ, a defensive line. An intense group. Maybe not the best awareness by them. Number 4 is twitchy, but good God, he's huge. I don't know what his height and weight is, but 12 for 24. Carson ain't having a very good day against this team. But again, historically, I think we're good. I think we know what Miami's about. I don't think there are any surprises. I don't think there's any questions about what we've seen this year. I think this team is, a really good football team. They're number 3 in the country on my poll. I don't remember what they are in the AP, but they're there for a reason. Now the question is, how do they travel to a mad Florida State team that just got upset? We'll see. Let's share. Let's go check out Florida State against Virginia. I actually watched that game. That was a fun one. We're going to let's do the game highlights. Let's chunk it down, man. We know. A lot of rushing yards from this team. 2 cupcakes. 1 really good team that they caught, and then Virginia caught them. So I'm not sure what they're about, man. Hell of an improvement from last year, though. I'll give them that. Gus Malzone was a good addition for them. They're averaging 6 yards a carry. Almost 7, 6.7. Almost 7 yards a carry. Really tough to do, no matter how just the sheer amount of games that you've played up to this point. 7 yards a carry is insane. As a team. Insane. Sleepy environment up in Charlottesville, though, man. Is that what got them? Virginia had motivation, too. I saw the whole time. They knew they had the potential. With where their offense was ranked, they had the potential to do something in this game. And this guy's played college football for 5 years now. I don't think he's had crazy stats. He's been to a couple of different teams, but this is the final showdown for him. So I imagine quarterback number 4 is going to play his heart out. Why wouldn't you? Last hurrah. He'll be on defense really getting home. Not necessarily confusion, but yeah, stuff like that is why you have almost 7 yards a carry. Now, again, these are really quick highlights, so we're not going to see probably any of the ebbs and flows to that run game. We're going to really see only the explosives. But again, on paper, the good and the bad. Castellanos, man, it might be questionable enough of him having the ball in his hand, other than running. Yeah, he might really struggle. There you go, home there. There you go. 27. They create a chaotic pocket, but number 4 dude just wheeling and dealing. I got my 5th year. Let's go. I'm at home. Get this crowd pumping. Look at the hill. That was so cool to watch that rush. They create enough of an issue. Right side, missed tackles, bad angles, back shoulder. Imagine a lot of that. Induces a freak outside, but the downside to having one, obviously it can be an X factor, but only having one real weapon on the outside. Miami's probably going to try to take him away, I would imagine. This guy has the best last name for a Florida State running back, 27. I've heard number 27 down for the defense, number 27 for the offense too, running back. He seems like he's got a good combination of, hey, there it is. Team speed for Florida State, though. I do like that. Like, even though they had their issues and some of that stemmed from good quarterback play from Virginia and Castellanos maybe making some questionable decisions. He's got wheels, though. Florida State has really, really good team speed. Now, Miami had like the unique ability or the unique combination of size and speed. Florida State don't look small, though. But they have like eye popping across the whole team speed. Like every position seems like they got burners. ACC Virginia. I mean, Virginia don't look like a bad team either. The NIL era is crazy, man. Just good awareness. I don't know if they've been doing that all season, but just good awareness on their part. The line the line is good. The O line is good. Obviously, O line running top 10 in the country, I would imagine. But their pass protection don't look bad either. I think the pass protection breaks down because of quarterback's inability to maybe read the field. He's a weirdly good runner, man. So I mean, that's just like something with Miami's defensive front. I can't imagine that they'll have like that type of success. But yeah, I mean, they made some mistakes in this game because number 4, like he's made some very quick. He's got 2 interceptions already. It's not even halftime. Missed tackles, bad tackling. That's a concern. That's not like, hey, we fixed that. We don't fix that in 1 week. Those are fundamentals. I mean, come on. That was assuming he was down. That was not fighting for every rep. And you see that with some defenses. It's unique when every defensive player has like one. That was a good hit, though, too. He just absorbed it. It's unique when the defense has the ability to like have the awareness, like I'm going to make the play. Every player on that defense, I'm going to make the play. They're not assuming the other players. My man was just scooting in, dude. Just scooting. I wonder if they accounted for his wheels. Obviously, I mean, they're coordinators. This is what they do professionally, make millions of dollars. But it's like, I guess sometimes it just breaks down. These are young players sometimes. He had a good wall to run behind there. That was a good wall. Football gods. Not a normal play. Just happened to work. Was that the running back? Yo, it wasn't even Castellanos. Castellanos. That's why it looked like that then. Hilarious. Account for chaos with them. But just kind of, like, I think they're just kind of scheming up winners, dude. I don't even know if they're necessarily a more talented team. Outside linebacker with them. Castellanos in clutch moments, having to make tough throws is not where I would want my team to be as Florida State. I want to control pace, run the ball. I don't necessarily want him out there. I don't want him out there having to win it. Not saying he can't, just has proven enough times that I'm surprised they didn't have in this the Deuce Robinson 9-yard bobble. This might be it right here. So, I mean, at the same time, he did make the play when he needed to. And this is a battle test type of game. Like, good teams need battle test moments like this. Has Miami seen a test like this? Florida, maybe a little bit. Notre Dame was a good game. I can't remember that game exactly. I don't know if they have similar resumes or not. Alabama at home, first game of the season, regardless of how prepared they were, that's a really good win. Especially seeing how Alabama's continuing to get better. And the way they beat them, 31-17. Out physical, faster. I think going up to Charlottesville, man, just a little bit of sleep. Friday night game, 5th-year quarterback. See, they had so many moments. Didn't they pick him off 3 times now? It's 7 interceptions on the season, I think. Stalter, just jump. Don't even show the offensive plays. Just, hey, they got a field goal too. Yeah, I mean, just good college football plays. Again, we're watching the defense, but just good college football plays. It's a good college game. It was a fun one to watch. Wonder if anybody picked Virginia to win. I doubt it. Toe on the back there. Da-da-da. Yeah. Man, he made enough plays. Just, you can't keep asking him to do that, you know? You can't keep it. You can't keep it going. I don't want it at the foot of Castellanos when it comes to these types of games. I don't know, man. Miami's a really, really good football team. Now let's see here. Over under on this game is 53.5. Miami's shown too they can win like multiple ways. It's 26 points a team. I can't imagine Florida State's not going to be able to move the ball. I don't think that Miami's going to be able to shut out. I don't think they're going to be able to shut out Florida State like they did Florida. The rushing attack is just too much. Now, are they just going to be able to walk it on Florida State's defense? Virginia did. I don't know if they walked it, but they had times where they looked like the more physical team, and that's something, right? I think there's some concern there because Florida's a physical defense. I think there's no doubt about that, and Miami was just leaning on them, like bigger, stronger, more will, more fight. Um, they kind of fell into a lull in the third. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. This is this is going to be a fun game. It's at Florida State, Miami traveling to Florida State. I think some good takeaways there, though. This Florida State team, obviously, crazy rushing attack. The defense isn't bad, right? The defense is fast. They've got team speed all throughout. The team speed, I think, is an advantage at any time, right? Anytime you're talking about a game, physicality is one thing, team speed is another. Team speed can make up for a lot of gaps in scheme, gaps in assignment. Team speed, like speed trumps all, right? And then, with Miami, they seem like a well-coached team. I think everyone knows that they're a well-coached team. I would imagine Carson Beck's never played there in his college career. He's played Florida State one time, beat them pretty bad with Georgia. But it's a unique environment. It's in the state of Florida, 4.5. It'll be interesting. So we'll make these picks on Friday. I think that's a good time to make these picks. Just initial takeaways, though. It's not as fun, with the teams that we know. There's not a ton of insight we're going to be able to add. Like we just get to watch them and be like, wow, we're really good football teams. This is going to be a fun matchup. I think I'm leaning Miami, though, obviously, on the road. I just think that defense is going to be able to do what it needs to in the running game against Florida State. Now, they had some issues with Florida kind of breaking runs. I think Florida State's going to be better at that. I think I trust Miami's defense more. We'll watch one more video of this. I want to see Miami versus Notre Dame, and I want to watch Florida State versus Alabama. Those week one games, how they went, unexpected as they were. Let's see how those went. But I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this was fun. We're right here at the 55-minute mark. Takeaways. I'll add a poll on this one. Who do you guys think is going to win, Miami, Florida State? And then, we're going to guess the lines. We're going to take the over-unders on these games. We'll pick money line, and then who can cover the spread. I think that's the most intriguing line on this game so far with that 4.5 point favor towards Miami. There might be some money to be made there. But again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This was a fun one. I know there were some pauses in this one. We're going to have to do some edits and stuff like that. But I appreciate you guys again for tuning in. This was the PodDawg Podcast. We're going to send you out with this nice Riverside mobile. Again, we'll get something cool with this. There's the X link below if you guys want to give me a follow. We are on the YouTube channel now, or we have the YouTube channel up and running, mostly here on Spotify, though. Spotify has made it really easy for, young creators to get into this, so I appreciate them as well. And then Riverside, shout out to them as well. So let's see you guys out. We'll see you next time. Peace.